right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, get any.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of All Things Sports at Night with your host, NESSP at Night, that is, Sonja Pearson. I am here on January 25th, 2024. Happy Friday Eve. And if you guys are out in all this rain, stay safe and stay dry. It is storming literally everywhere. All right, you guys, I have another special guest tonight. I am joined by the one and the only Big Mike of the Man Cave. Hi, Mike. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I am great. And hello to everyone coming in. Please say hello and welcome Mike to our show when you drop in the comments. He's called Big Mike. So say hello to him. Now tell us a little bit about you. I know you are the founder, producer, and host of the Man Cave. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And I see you are a Browns fan.
Yeah. I'm a Cleveland guy. Well, I'm 50-50 with the Man Cave. Me and my co-host on Sports Madness, Jay, we started the Man Cave Media LLC, and one day I moved down here towards Cincinnati, met him. We were sitting at the bar talking. He was like, "Hey, we could do this on, do this." I'm like, "Listen, man, I've done this forever. I went to school for it. So
Awesome.
give me 2 days." Set it all up, and here we are. Now we're just rolling along, and it's going on almost 2 years.
That is great. And tell our audience how they can check you out for those who are Ohio and Cleveland fans and all that good stuff.
All right, YouTube and Instagram at the Man Cave 8172, Twitter and TikTok at the Man Cave 10, and on Facebook at the Man Cave 1022.
All right. So we'll have all that dropped in coming up now. Right now, I'm sharing this because we've got a lot of audience members that are coming on right now. And we always have people that are saying, hey, I just missed you guys being live, because this is almost like a nightly thing for me. So you have to hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube so you get the notification when I am live. And I'm so honored to have my friend here, Mike, that's helping me join in on this nice, wet, but kind of warm. It's a little bit warmer than it has been here in the South. It is 70 in Atlanta compared to last week when it was 20. So we're here and we're just trying to get it done. Now, breaking news out of the NFL, you guys. Let me start with the Falcons, because I don't even want to talk about the Panthers at the moment. Looks like the Falcons have hired or in the final negotiations with hiring their head coach. No, it is not Bill Belichick, guys. It is going to be the Rams defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. Now, Falcon fans have been on the fence about that. Some people are like, hey, yeah, we want Raheem. He's a beast, blah, blah, blah. He's with the Rams, what have you. But looks like Eric Bieniemy, who they also were interested in, has kind of fizzled to the back. And Belichick is just a myth at this moment. At this moment, Mike, what are your thoughts about the Falcons taking on the Rams' former defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris?
If I'm correct, he was a head coach. I kind of want to say it was Tampa Bay at one point, like a while ago. Great defensive coordinator. He knows his defensive side of the ball. It's more or less offense is where a problem is. And, in Atlanta, they need their defense. They need that defense to be beefed up. Their offense is kind of set except for a QB. I think it's a good hire. It's weird how they went about it, though. They said, "Oh, well, Belichick, come on in. Oh, let's
Right.
do it again. Oh, Eric Bieniemy. Oh, Vrabel. Oh, Harbaugh." And they went all the way around. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Raheem Morris just pops right in there.
out of nowhere.
It
Yeah,
was weird. I mean, this whole season's been weird. I love the football season altogether because of how close games were, how there was 30 teams still in the running for the playoffs, week 15. But it's just weird how coaching hires go now. Just I don't know.
this whole season, you're right, has been absolutely unpredictable, and it does seem like Raheem Morris came out of nowhere. After all, the
Mhm.
first meeting that Belichick had with Arthur Blank, they said it was on his yacht, and that they spent several hours because Belichick is more of a management coach, not just a coach, and so he has to be hands on. We talked about that in a couple of other episodes, but I don't know if they just couldn't come to a happy median or what. But he had a second follow up with Arthur Blank and it still did not happen. As far as Eric Bieniemy, it's like no one even spoke about him anymore. The rumor is, and you know, it's always a rumor. Andy Reid, Big Red, out there with the Kansas City Chiefs, may be stepping down, and that possibly could be a fit for Bill Belichick. But I honestly do not see that with Bill Belichick being 71 years old, almost 72. It looks like the Falcons took the direction for a more younger head coach for that very reason because of the age element. What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
I feel like that's what every team's doing. We could still see Pete Carroll, sitting there being an advisor, even though the dude's got a lot left. I mean, he goes out there and plays football with his players. So, it's
Mhm.
not like he's not all there or he's not active or physically can't do this. He can do it. I mean, I think it's crazy that if you have the hooded monster saying, "Hey, I want to do this somewhere," and no one's really going at him. My hot take with it was I really felt like Philadelphia was going to fire Nick Sirianni. Felt it
Yeah.
coming. I felt like,
It still feels like it's just one of those things you're holding your breath because, like you said, it's been such an uncertain season. Like
mhm,
Black Monday ended up being like Black Weekend and Black Week, then Black Month,
yeah,
honestly.
and that's like if they would fire Nick, and I thought they were going to have this all settled Wednesday, and I didn't hear that it got settled yet. So now I'm like, oh, because I feel like Belichick would fit there. Like I called it before. I
Yeah,
said, look, I think that's where he goes. If Eagles lose, Sirianni, that whole thing's gone. Patricia's already there, and Belichick's coached with him before.
that's his homie. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's got the
yeah.
team. The team's set to go. I mean, you might need to change a couple things or add a couple pieces, but I mean, they're ready. I don't see him going to the Chiefs though. Like that is not a place I could see him going.
I think people are just speculating right now because they're so shocked that he's still out there. I mean, Bill Belichick is the winningest coach in the league, and you would think he would be highly sought after. I mean, I wish he could come to Carolina, but the control there by Tepper would not
Yeah,
allow that. There's no way. And because Bill Belichick is one of these in charge men, it's not about him just coaching a winning team. It's about the personality.
yeah,
It's also about him having that control and even though it looks like they spent countless hours trying to talk things out about how the organization will be run down here in Atlanta, they are quarterbackless for all intensive purposes. I think if they already had a quarterback, Belichick may have been a little more attracted to Atlanta. Who knows whose decision it was not to move forward? But nonetheless, I don't know. We don't know where Belichick will end up right now. And Mike Vrabel is still out there dangling around as well. I think people are looking at the more recent seasons and not the legacy that these two coaches have built. What are your thoughts?
that that is stupid to think that that could be true. Real stupid to think that they would only look at what's recently happened and not what has happened. I mean, the Titans have been hitting the playoffs every year for how many years since Vrabel stepped in? What, this year there's a problem? Come on now.
Yeah, but
I figured they were going to regroup and restart, and that's fine. I can't believe nobody's really looked at Vrabel as anything. I mean, to me, Seattle would be the perfect fit. Perfect
and it's
fit.
not Vrabel's fault that Derrick Henry is getting older, getting up there. Then they had the
No,
quarterback issue and had to bring in Will Levis. The injuries that were plagued by the Titans are not his fault. But everyone is like the NFL is not for long. And so it's the same way with the fans. If they start feeling like you're not winning every single game, every single season, then it's off with your head and it's not for long. And it's what have you done for me lately? So unfortunately, the Patriots have not been the same since Tom Brady left. So we kind of are begged to think, was it really the Belichick way or was it the Brady way? After all, he came to Tampa and took those guys from the gutter, literally in Drake style, started from the bottom. Now we here and got that ring, and then tried to come back and do a do-over. It didn't work the second time, but the fact that it worked the first time was magical. And then he had something that you are not going to probably ever see in the NFL again, as far as taking a whole organization from the gutter and bringing them up and making them formidable. Now,
I don't know. I don't know.
who you
You
think is
saw what
CJ
CJ Stroud
Stroud?
done did. Took a
CJ
2-win team to the
Stroud,
playoffs, won
but
that could be
he's
one.
he's a scope short only because he's a rookie. I think
Yes.
if CJ had a few more years on him, he probably would. And I was actually rooting for him. Let's be clear. I'm rooting for him, D'Amico Ryans, that whole organization, because they come from such a humble background. And I've, as a fan, with me being a Panthers fan, the more we lose, the more I'm appreciative of other teams that are in the same situation, that are trying to find
Yeah.
their finding, get their footing back in the league. And so I am like, oh wow, plus CJ is a good kid. You could tell his mother did a good job raising him. Unfortunately, his father was out of his life after he was a teenager because of some personal decisions, but he's in his life now, but from a distance. And so his mother, along with CJ's older siblings, did an amazing job of setting the example of who he's supposed to be. He's very grounded. He's very mature for his age. And he took the entire organization and put it on his back straight out of college. And it's like he never missed a beat. So you're right about CJ, and he's actually relaxing out right now. So kudos to him. That will not be the last that we see of that young man. They probably will make a run for it again next year. I'm definitely banking on that. Now, I do want to go ahead and keep it with the NFC South. The Panthers, my team, hired David Canales today. I am not sold. He is the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. Some key notes on him. Let's see. I had to take notes because I don't really know a lot about this guy. He I don't know. No one knows, and fans everywhere are like, I'm on a lot of fan pages. No one is sold on this guy. We feel like Pete Carroll, Belichick, or Vrabel are still available. Could have been better suited. The NFL is clearly going to go for a more younger, more player-friendly type coaches. Canolis is born in 1981. He's younger than I am. And so it's a gamble. It is a gamble all the way around. I don't know if David Tepper is choosing Canales because he's an NFC South competitor, and he got sold on the fact of what they did with Baker Mayfield and that crew, just barely scratching up to the top of the toilet bowl division we're in, just to go on to the wild card and beat a struggling Philadelphia team that no one's bragging on. They're not the Eagles that we've seen before. And all of that. So we've got some questions and comments on here. Oh wow, we've got a lot of comments. So shout out to the producer, Linda McGrath and Max Sports. They're saying watching on Roku, and she's saying, how are we doing? Mike to Linda. Hi, Linda.
How you doing?
And then we've got someone, beautiful bearded bastards, I guess. Hello, everyone. Hello. And then my cousin, Larry Jr. What's up, Larry? He's down there in Florida. He played in the Major League Baseball years ago, and I think he's in the minors now, retired, chilling. What's up, cuz? Love you too. And now we got a question from Paul Peters. Why does this lady look like who? A failed realtor? I guess he's talking about I'm a realtor.
I guess. I don't know what the hell.
I don't know. I don't look like no real estate agent. But anyway, and someone saying they're streaming from Microsoft 95. Where's she filming from? Is she in the forest? Okay. All right, Paul Peters.
I don't even know who that guy is.
I don't even know either. That's crazy. But anyway, all right. So basically, it's a lot. I mean, what are your thoughts on them hiring the Panthers?
I think that was crazy. It was absolutely nuts. It was a knee-jerk reaction to what he did with Baker, because Baker had an amazing year. I mean, to be honest, comeback player of the year, finalist. I mean, he lit it up. He lit it the hell up. And you know what's funny is nobody really knows about this guy. Let's go up, back it up. Um,
They back it
he
up.
w he hasn't called plays or done anything since he did for a high school team some years ago. So this is just some dude that just stepped in, said, "All right," a couple years ago, he called some high school plays. They brought him in, and he did a good job. I just don't get why the Panthers thought he should be a head coach. I don't know. None of it makes sense. But again, this is the world we live in now. We're giving all these young guys because everybody saw Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur,
Yes.
Kyle Shanahan. They see all these young guys have this experience and like, oh well, we can get it too. Well, no, you can't just catch lightning in a bottle like that. It doesn't happen. Like that dude didn't come
Yeah,
from some coaching tree somewhere. He just came. He's just there. So I
definitely.
don't like it personally for you guys. I don't think it's. I mean, maybe they think it's going to help Bryce, but I don't know.
The Bryce saga is going to continue for quite a while. I mean, we know we have to get an entire O line for him just to try to get him where he needs to be. And it's just another, I'm just preparing myself for another downward trend. And I think if I can prepare now, that will prevent any heartbreak. Now I could be surprised, but I'm not gonna hold my breath for it. Mike Vrabel, what is the deal? Why do you think no one's picking him up?
I don't know. Like you said, maybe it is that. Oh well, he hasn't done a lot lately. Maybe he can't take a rookie quarterback and do something with him because he couldn't do nothing with Will. Which again, I don't think that's on him at all. When you get a rookie quarterback, it takes at least 2, 3 years where you could really know whether or not he's going to be something. You can't
Right,
just say,
right.
"Hey, he threw him in there. He didn't do nothing. He's a bad coach." I don't get the beat on Vrabel. I don't know. Maybe is it him not trying to go to certain spots? But again, I just can't see why Seattle's so hard on Dan Quinn. But Mike Vrabel is not an option. The man who's run the organization and had winning season, won divisions, been to the playoffs numerous times. I mean, I don't know. It just makes no sense.
Yes, and so the coaching carousel continues. Frank Wright, by the way, since we didn't give him a chance to finish out his season, he's now in Philadelphia consulting with Sirianni, trying to basically, they fired their defensive coordinator recently. So now he's up there trying to, I guess, consult or whatever they're doing. Um, Everyone's the lame duck right now. Sirianni, Mike McCarthy, all of that. And speaking of Mike McCarthy, the drama in Dallas continues. I mean, this is an everyday thing. You have CD Lamb's mom basically saying she wants CD out of Dallas because Dak is not it. You have Dak's brother coming on saying, "Hey, we wish we could get him out of there." Then you have Michael Pollard's brother. I mean, it's so much going on right now. What in the world is happening that all these family members who are just fans, to be honest with you, are so involved in what's going on in that? Is it the fact that Mike McCarthy is still there, and so they're just venting?
Think it's just a bunch of fans overstepping their boundaries. Granted, they are their loved ones, stuff's happening. They can't stand to watch us anymore. Hey, listen, we agree with you. We can't stand to watch it either. We can't stand to see Mike McCarthy out there looking stupid while he
Mhm.
tries to win a game, or Dak looks like he's some crazy, magnificent dude during the regular season or
Yes.
against trash teams, but come playoffs, he's the light skinned Tony Romo. I
Right,
mean,
right.
they need more things there. They kept saying, "Oh, well, Tony Pollard, we got rid of Zeke. Tony's going to be our guy." He is not an RB1. By no means is he. I don't like him as that. He had one 100-yard rushing game. That what the hell's that do? He just barely broke 1,000 yards. You
Right.
have no wide receiver too. What Cooks? Cooks gave you 600 yards. I don't know. I'm not sold on that. CD needs help. 1,700 yards. 100 plus receptions. Dude balled out. Balled out. I can
And
see the
this
frustration from
of
him.
the team. Mhm.
Yeah, the whole team's got to be irate, but I see CD being mad at Dak because that whole thing spewed in that game. They got at each
Yeah,
other.
Dak had him on the side a couple times, like he was trying to get with him, and I think that's how CD's mom got involved. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, that's my son, don't be talking to my son like that. But the more pressing thing is Jerry Jones is usually more vocal, and Jerry Jones has not stepped out and said, "Hey, Dak is our quarterback.
I
He has
think he's
not
at a
said
loss for
that.
words. I think he doesn't know what to do or say right now because he's already chose to keep Mike McCarthy for the year. Because I think
Yep.
Belichick, he probably said something to Bell, and Belichick said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm just leaving Kraft. I'm not
Right.
coming to somebody else. I'm not
Right.
doing that." And I think that was the whole thing there. So he said, "Well, I'm not going to pay two coaches if I might as well just run it with him, run it with Dak. I'm not going to give Dak the extension. Run one more year, and then when that's out, ship him off and be done with it." I don't know. Jerry usually is outlandish and outspoken and going crazy, especially with this. But I really think Cat's got his tongue. He just doesn't know what to do anymore. He's tried so much, and he thought he did all these things. Maybe he needs to relinquish the GM duties, actually hire a
Mhm.
GM, bring in a coach, do something like that. And that's the reason why Belichick stayed away. You're not going to stop being a GM.
Right.
Belichick's not going to
Right.
come.
Yeah, and then just thinking of all the stuff that's going on, Joe Burrow and the new offensive coordinator that's up near your neck of the woods,
Yeah.
the other part of Ohio, Dan Pitcher. He's talking about how he's confident that will take the Bengals back to where they need to be. Are they where they need to be, or in comparison to Deshaun is coming back next year, right?
Listen, no, let me start with this Bengals situation. They're the problem with them is right now is they don't know what they're going to have after this offseason. Higgins can be there. They can resign him. What are they going to do with him? Is he going to be gone? Tyler Boyd's contract's up. Is he going to be there? Is he going to be gone? Who are you going to have sitting next to Chase? Are you going to draft somebody? That offense is going to look way different. You
Mhm.
know, do they possibly move Mixon because Chase Brown looked good?
Right.
I mean, the offensive line's in shambles. You need to bring someone in again because that offensive line hasn't looked right, even though they paid Orlando Brown how much, and then he still looked like trash because he can't pass block for the life of him. I don't know. I don't know. The new OC, it sucks that Callahan left there because that's who Joey B knew. That's what
Right.
that offense knew. But now it's time. All right. He had to go, went to the Titans, starting his thing. Again, another young coach getting a shot before, you know,
Mhm.
Belichick, all them. And then Deshaun Watson and this whole certain thing. You got Browns fans here that are just done. And I think
Mhm.
they were done when it happened because they hated the deal. Problem is usually you go back and say, what was the last thing you remember about Deshaun? What did he do last for you? He went 14 of 14 for 132 yards, a touchdown, and 30 rushing yards, come back and beat the Baltimore Ravens, who are the number one team in the league. Wow, that seems pretty good. His record was 5-1, 1,100-yard passing, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 65 QBR. All right, cool. You could work on some things,
Right.
but again, both tackles went down. Your star running back goes down. Defensive players going down left and right. Everybody needs to calm down with this situation. Bring back Flacco. Do this, do that. Come on, man. D-Dub is our guy. We gave up all that for him.
Mhm.
Let's just let him do his thing. Hopefully bring in an OC he can trust, an OC that Stefanski can trust. So Stefanski say, hey, call the plays. Call your plays instead of me having to call your plays. Because that's been the issue this whole time. Stefanski's doing more than he needs to. But
Yeah, that's why I brought that up because that's when I was speaking of Joe Burrow, I was reminded to ask you because I'm going to be asking you about your Browns because there was some talk and some slack about whether or not they were going to bring Flacco back or Deshaun, and they said if they did that, if they brought Flacco back, it would destroy the locker room because of everything that has been given up for Deshaun. And additionally, there's always some people who still have not been 100% sold on Deshaun for personal reasons that things he had off the field.
see, and that's the issue. You bring say Flacco, you're coming back, but you're going to be in a backup role, which Flacco might do because he's loved what was here. He's enjoyed his time in Cleveland, and he said that. He said, "Dude, I would love to come back at some capacity if the fans could just shut up."
Yep. And we know those dog fans are powerful up there.
Do you know what happened after Flacco threw those 2 pick sixes and lost that game? People were burning the shirts.
Yeah.
Why?
I
The
wonder if
dude
he was
did more than
receiving
just
different
that
hits.
game.
Mm-hmm.
If we bring Flacco back, the fans need to understand if Deshaun throws an interception or loses a game, don't start calling for his head and say, put Flacco in. It just can't happen like that. That's why I personally don't think we need to do that. Because if we do that, if we bring Flacco back, it's always going to be over the shoulder then. The minute he messes up, unless Deshaun says, hey, you could bring him back, I'm cool with it. I can take it. Because if something does happen, I understand. We need to win. But I don't know. I just don't see it happening, even though Andrew Berry said he would do it if it can happen. I don't see it because of the fans, because of how that perception is. If you mess up once, it's over with.
Right. And hi to Chris, and you're absolutely right. Chris was on my show last night. Very intelligent. Chris Pomay has his own show as well. Thanks for joining us tonight,
How
Chris.
you doing, Chris?
And hello to the beautiful bearded bastards. I forgot to say hello to them earlier. They are now on, looks like they tuned in on the YouTube. So they said Flacco is great. Flacco is great.
He is.
So I don't know. I mean, if Flacco doesn't come back to Cleveland, where do you see him?
If a team's smart, they pick him up. I mean, you got to think there's so many teams out there that could definitely use that. And we saw that this year. More quarterbacks got injured this year than in how many years? I mean, what was it, like 8, 9 starting quarterbacks?
This was a lot. This was, I think at one point they had like double-digit starting quarterbacks. And all of the rookies got a chance to see some game time this year.
Exactly. And the thing is if you could bring him back and put him somewhere, great. But I agree with what Chris has just said. I think he does. If the Browns don't bring him back, I really do think he goes and sits down and goes back to that couch and says, hey, I gave it a hell of a run at the end. I, boosted more stats of mine, but he could always say he had that.
But you got teams that need a quarterback, notwithstanding the draft that are coming up. You got Atlanta that needs one. The Giants need one. We need to see what it looks like. They said Aaron Rodgers was out there burning everybody down in drills last week. So it looks like he's going to be coming back for the Jets. Oh, yeah, I know they're going to be happy about that. But there's always a place out there, at least for him to be a backup quarterback. So, I mean, I guess we kind of like have our favorites and we're just like, we're not ready yet to let these people go. And they did get him out of retirement. So, Chris is saying maybe he could be in the future as a quarterback coach. Who knows? But he's saying that the Browns are definitely going in the right direction. So thanks for that, Chris. Looks like they were talking about Kyle Rudolph? Kirk Cousins. Sorry, had a brain freeze for a minute. Kirk Cousins. What's the deal with him? Kirk looking like, I know Atlanta had some little rumblings about him at one point. Now he's almost, on the veteran status himself. What do you think is going to happen with Kirk Cousins?
He's already told Minnesota he'd come back for less money. So, I mean, to me, if Minnesota's smart, they do that. They definitely do that because he knows the team. He knows everybody. Everybody knows him. Nothing's really changed. You keep Dobbs on as the backup because, Dobbs can be, a good backup. But, if there's other teams, you could see him being in a Patriots uniform. You could see him being in Atlanta because, again, Atlanta would be a decent fit for him. You got Bijan Robinson. You got Kyle Pitts. You got Drake London. Tyler Algier. If they bring in another wide receiver and draft another wide receiver, you got options. He can definitely still be a good quarterback. I'm not going to put him elite or any of that, but he could be a quarterback that can lead your team somewhere if that team's ready to go. You can't just expect him to take trash to the Super Bowl. He's not going to do that. He's not that type of quarterback. Like Jay Love literally took people that nobody knew and literally was a minute away from beating the Niners and being in the NFC Championship. So
he did. And Chris is right. The NFL offseason is going to be very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait to see these drafts pick up. Now you brought up something that I'm asking every guest that I have on. We got the playoffs coming up this weekend. The powerhouses. I've literally said that Kansas City Baltimore game is probably going to be the highest watched game of maybe of the season. You got the two powerhouses, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. If they were not both in the AFC, we probably would be looking at a preview of the Super Bowl. But of the teams, those and Dan Campbell and the Lions, versus those 49ers who are ever so faithful that they keep coming back for another try. Um, who do you think we're going to have that's going to probably be the final two out of those four?
I'm going Baltimore Niners. Um,
Everybody seems to be doing Baltimore Niners.
I mean, the reason why the Bills lost to the Chiefs, I'm going to put that all on coaching. I mean, fake punt on your own 30. There was a bunch of drop passes that should have been dropped. I mean, Josh Allen did everything he could to will this team to this victory, and that coaching literally held him back. And plus, you had a missed field goal. But
Speaking of, that kicker has been receiving death threats. They talked about that.
stupid.
Yes, Bills Mafia turned in a New York minute, literally speaking, New York minute.
You know what's
They
crazy?
turned on them.
This will brighten your day. He does a foundation for adopting pets and stuff and all this different
I
things.
saw that.
Tyler Bass, KC fans were donating to it big time, saying, "Hey, there's no need for all this, go Chiefs." But yes, they were all in doing everything they could to make sure he felt right. Just like what Chris is saying it right there. 10 Lives Club. That's where there it is. Yeah. But $100,000, I mean, that shows. I mean, this is what I hate about fans. Certain fans are like literally nut jobs.
Mhm.
I want
Literally.
to ask every single one of them that go crazy like this, that burn jerseys that they buy and spend money on, or go nuts about tickets and stuff. Listen, I've been a diehard fan for a long time, and I'm not a diehard fan of just the Browns. I'm a diehard fan of sports in general. I know the games. I know how refs call or what they call. I know all this because I study it all. I mean, I coached basketball for 18 years. I went to ref camps just so I could learn why my players would get this foul called on them or not. You have to know the games and
Mhm.
stop acting like these players aren't humans too.
Exactly.
I mean, people make mistakes. Shit happens. It's how this works. Unless you're getting paid by this team and you're mad because you didn't get a Super Bowl ring because you should have been there, there's no reason to be upset. None whatsoever.
The fallacies within the coaching and refereeing and all of that stuff, especially in refereeing. They're talking about getting more former players in to actually serve as refs so that it can kind of be more balanced.
You know what? That's a hell of an idea. Get players, even players that didn't make it, didn't get drafted, college players, but make it a year-round thing. These refs don't want to put all into it because you have what, 4 months, and then you're done. Your job's over with until next year. If you make this a year-round thing where these refs go to, do schools or go learn more about their craft, and you pay them yearly for this and more than what you are, or even do other things with them. There's other things that can be done with them. There's got to be. If you do that, they'll be more prompt to be like, hey, we learn more. Now we know. No, that isn't
Right.
a PI. No, that isn't
No,
holding. No,
no,
that
that's
is
the
this.
catch. Yes.
I mean, now they're just throwing flags for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Just whoop.
That's what I was on the show with Byron Williams. He is the former Green Bay Packer and New York Giants player, and he's the Dallas area president of the NFLPA. And so that's one of the things they're talking about because it's all about trying to make the game better
Mhm.
without turning it into flag football. And Chris is saying it's not easy to kick a 44-yard field goal in the cold, windy conditions in Orchard Park. And you're right. That's the thing
Exactly.
that gets me. We all scream and get mad and bloody murder, but Pat McAfee has it on the college game day every Saturday. He has somebody out
Yep.
there, some random person that tries to go for a field goal so he can prove the point. Hey, it's not that easy, but hey, I'll give you X amount of money, and it's thousands of dollars if you
Yep.
can just make this field goal. And he gets a random person goes out there and they see, oh wow, this is literally not what we think. So
and they're doing it without other players running at them.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it
Right.
without
The
all the
easy.
conditions, the pads
Right.
on, the helmet on.
Right.
Again,
Right.
44 yards is a decent field goal. I mean, that's
Very big.
you're kicking it, and again, cold weather, wind. You're. I mean, the pressure is surmountable. I mean, you are just. This is insane. And to
Mm-hmm.
get on somebody like that, I get it, Bills fans. You were there with what Norwood, wide right. You know, you don't want to hear that no more. I mean, you've been to how many Super Bowls with Jim Kelly? 4 in a row, and you just couldn't get it done. Just calm down, man. Y'all got something. You got something. Maybe
I
you need a
literally
new
felt like it
coach.
was their time. Yeah.
I mean, Daboll's doing it. Yeah, I don't know. You need a new coach. Again, fake punts. I get it. Sean Payton did that onside kick at halftime of the Super Bowl and got it back. Wow, that
Yes.
happened. Things like that can
Yes.
be pulled out. I wouldn't risk it if you don't 100% think you can do it and not on your own 30.
Right. And then like Chris said, it's always the few plays at the end, but like we always think if you play
Yep.
the entire game as much as the penalties is always what gets everybody. Not
Yes.
not necessarily mistakes, but actual penalties. You're pulling a face mask. You know you can't do that. You are
Yep.
doing, some type of running into the kicker. You know you can't do that, or running to the passer, something that's egregious to the point that is going to be a big penalty, and you're trailing, and you need not to give, like, I can't remember which one of the 4 games it was. They were on like 4th down. They were about to give the ball back, and a penalty ended up giving them 1st down, which cost the game. So here we are still in that, but I digress because it goes on and on and on. And so he's talking about how Diggs has some big drops.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I said you play the whole game, and then you don't have to worry about losing in the end.
And, that's the thing. They're not looking at the whole game. Like Chris was saying, they kicked that field goal. KC still has time on the clock. It would have just tied the game. This wasn't winning the game. The fumble that went out of bounds, which I hate that rule.
That's
Even
the
though I get it,
one.
but I
If
hate
it
it.
was in motion or something, or it broke the plane, and
Yeah, it broke the plane and goes out of bounds.
it could
Inside the
be
end zone.
1st
I get
down.
it,
When
but
did
I
they
hate it.
come up with that rule? When did they? I
It's
never
been
even knew
going
about
around for
that.
a while, and it's stupid. It's just it makes no sense that it's like that, but it's just like the other rule that nobody even knows about. Like if you kick the ball, like on a kickoff, and the ball's rolling and it's going to go towards out of bounds, and you go stand out of bounds and reach in and touch that ball, it's an automatic touchback and it goes to the 40.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows
You
that
touch
rule,
it.
but
That's where
smart as
everyone's
hell to
jumping
do
around
that.
it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite a bit. Now, we talked about the Super Bowl preview here. You saying Ravens and 49ers. I think this is Dan Campbell's time. 1957 first championship, which was not a Super Bowl. 1991, 92, 93 divisionals, somewhere along those lines. And it's been 30 years, and we see what the Atlanta Braves did after waiting 30 years. They got it done. Teams that seem to be waiting like that, they just seem to always kind of at least get that one. And I think that Dan Campbell and them are definitely formidable, and they are competitive. And it's going to be up to the 49ers. Brock Purdy's going to have to protect the ball and really protect himself coming out of the pocket and everything else. CMC, he's going to have a big game. We know how he gets down. Ayuk, Kittle, everybody is going to
Mhm.
show up. Now, the Kansas City game, I noticed you picked the Ravens over them. I
Yes.
actually agree. Everybody thinks that you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, but Kelsey has not been that sustainable this year with some of his passes. He's dropped critical passes 2 different times. I watched him, and I'm like, he's too busy over here and
Yeah.
run to Taylor and not focused on the game. And so she's going to be at the game. So that may be the nemesis that the Ravens need to go ahead and get it done. But I am happy for Travis and Taylor. I hope they last
Oh, yeah.
forever. But just noticing, even before that was all out and about, he just seemed to be a little different. Now he's the greatest tight end that we have right now, if not one of the greatest ever. And so I don't know what it would take for him to to get himself back? What do you think? Like just maybe more discipline, more concentration on what's going on?
Yeah, it's a mental thing. It seems like he's putting more pressure on himself than he needs to. It's like, it's the same thing. If you're dating somebody, like say we're dating or whatever, we go, I'm star quarterback and you show up at the game, I have more pressure on me because I don't want to look like a fool in front of you or lose the
Right.
game. So you kind of got that pressure. It's
Yeah.
added to what he's already had. He's usually cool, calm, relaxed. Now he's kind of this and that, slamming helmets around. You
And
see
it's
it. It builds
Taylor
up
of all
more.
people. This isn't just somebody he got off Instagram. This is Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
it's
it's
a
a high
big name.
standard.
Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna probably do a TV show after this, Kelsey Swift or something. It'll be
Yes.
something stupid.
The TKS or something.
Yeah, it'll
They
be
had
something.
people were actually like rooting for him early on when he tried to go to one of her concerts and he had a bracelet that he had
Yeah,
made because she's big on the bracelets. And he said she wouldn't even meet him or everything. And he was like, man, all I want to do is just tell her I'm one of her biggest fans and let her know, I perform at Arrowhead just like she does. I probably don't bring as many people, but
yeah.
close enough. And everybody felt bad, like, oh, she shot him down. She could at least met him. He's a great tight end. And then lo and behold, looks like she met him, and then they've been together. So their coaches described it as a very organic relationship. Not Andy Reid, but I think it was one of their offensive coordinators or something. Said that what we see is what's really out there. So great for them. Now, I got to roll up a little bit because Chris has been literally messaging every few seconds. He's talking about the thoughts on the AFC game. We're talking about that a little bit. And then he says that Dan Campbell is the perfect coach for the Lions.
He
Dan
is.
acts like he's former military. I mean, he gets in there and like gets in their face. He's, loud, he's aggressive, he's passionate. He looks like he will ride for that team all day long.
Oh, he's like a devil dog, like a Marine. I mean, he's just out
Yeah.
there, kill, kill, kill type stuff. Like, he is very into it. And those players love it. They feed off of it. They take his energy out there on the field with them. It's an amazing thing to see. Most people are like, well, he's just too violent or he's saying this. Who cares, man? The dude
Right.
loves the game of football again, and he's loving his team and he's bonding with his team. His team
And he used to
feeling it.
play
That's
with them. And it's
yes.
like full circle, just kind of like Jim Harbaugh,
Yep.
who played in Michigan, coached in Michigan, played with the Chargers when they were in San Diego, I believe.
Yep.
And now he's the Chargers coach. It's full
Yep.
circle
Yep.
for everyone. So that's why I'm really rooting for on the Lions. Plus, they're felines. And, since I'm a Panther, I'm going to root for the cats and stuff, the NFC. But do you think this team has, so someone's going to lose the game. We know that. And
Yeah.
all four of these teams are the best of the four. These are the best of the league. This is the final four, so to speak. Will we see these same teams again next season? I know we see the Bills back to back. And I know we're going to see Patrick Mahomes. Will we see the Lions again if, say, perchance they are eliminated?
Will we see the Lions again? Yes, we'll see the Lions again. I'll tell you right now, I'll hot take this right here. I don't know if we see the Chiefs again. Not next year.
Mm,
You got to think this
mm.
division that they're in, before the Broncos decided to do that crazy crap with Russell Wilson, they could have won the division. The
And
Raiders
he's
could
not
have won the
done.
division.
He's not
They are
done. They may be having to bring him back,
who?
the Broncos, because they said they jumped the gun on
They're not
his
bringing him. He ain't
clause.
going back.
He probably won't. Yeah. So
He's
he's
going to
out there.
he's going to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I as soon as he got let go, I put this out there for the world to hear. That would be his best bet. And that's the Raiders' best bet. You get a proven quarterback, someone that can throw the ball. You got all the other pieces, and that dude will torment the Broncos every chance he gets for how they treated him and what they did. And to be
Yeah,
honest, that Raiders team can take down KC.
yeah, that interdivision rivalry is already strong anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
So what do the Raiders do with their QB?
Oh, Jimmy, tell him to go model for GQ, man. He's done.
Yeah.
Go
Jimmy
play in the
G. He's already
USFL
with
or
the
something if you really
49ers.
still want to play.
He hasn't done anything. And what? Yeah, he hasn't done anything. And even when they got rid of Derek Carr and sent him to the Saints. I just haven't seen anybody that goes to the Raiders and then leaves. I just have not seen that greatness for them. Now there was a rumor out that Aaron Rodgers, when he comes back to the Jets, was going to be trying to get Devontae Adams to come follow him.
You know what? I love all that. The rumors and everybody's saying, "Oh, Devontae's doing this." Devontae can't do anything. He has to be traded
Mm,
there. He's not gonna. He can't. He's got 2 more years left. And to be honest, Devontae just put his thing on the line saying he wanted traded if Antonio Pierce didn't come back.
yeah,
He's not gonna go anywhere now. So everybody needs to
yeah,
shut that down. Stop worrying about Devontae to go meet up with Aaron Rodgers. It's not
right.
happening. It's just not.
Right.
It's
They said they tried to get him before and he didn't get on there. So I was like, I was trying to figure out how that was happening. Because sometimes people, players do request to be traded, but who is the best protected non-trade person right now is Dak Prescott. He has the non-franchise tag, the you can't trade me till his time is up. He's got like Dallas is, stuck because they were talking about, if Dak came to Atlanta, if things got rough and he had to come, and everybody was like, he can't go anywhere.
well, that's why he did all that red tape. So he couldn't just be out because he knew how Jerry Jones was. He knew it, but he also knew he could sell Jerry Jones on all that red tape because Jerry Jones believed in him so much at that point.
Mhm, mhm. And Chris is saying that Cincinnati is going to be back on the top in the AFC again, and I'm saying we'll have to wait and see because this season right here was absolutely unpredictable to me. I mean, from the coaching carousel to the quarterback carousel, when you
Mhm.
have both of those two together, it's an unstable NFL. And good evening, early my sis is tuning in, and Chris is saying Dak will retire as a Cowboy. So
Well, then he's
I
retiring
guess
after next year. If that's what
wow.
he's saying, because Dak's not going to be a Cowboy after next year. Unless he leads them to the Super Bowl, Dax will not be there. He's not. There's no
Yeah.
way Jerry Jones keeps that around. He's just not. If he does, then
Yeah.
he's going senile and he's getting Alzheimer's. All sorts of stuff's happening. He needs to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're the NFL awards are coming up. We're talking about all these high caliber players like Dak Prescott, Christian McCaffrey, and Lamar Jackson are all up for this very offensive, high ranking record. They're up for offensive player of the year. We've seen CJ Stroud down in Texas. Is he arguably, or should I say undisputedly, the offensive rookie of the year?
Do I believe he gets all the votes? No. I think some votes go to Puka. I mean, the dude broke records that have been standing
Mm.
there for over 60 years.
Mhm.
More than that, probably, actually. I think a couple votes swing his way, but I do think Stroud wins it. There's no way he doesn't from the turnaround he's done. Last to first in the division, playoff win. Yeah, there's no way you don't give it to him, but Puka does deserve some votes.
Was Bijan Robinson even still amongst the runners? He was good until he had that failure to report with the headache that he had one game, and then the Falcons were fine from it. It just seems like he just was not the same after he had that.
Yeah, Bijan, and I don't blame him for that. I blame Arthur
Right.
Smith for that.
Right.
Like, why were you not using this man? He's out there. You put him out there. You run him a couple times. He does some good. He has some good runs. 20-yard run here, 10-yard catch here. All this stuff, and then all of a sudden you just don't use him. It made no sense to me. It was like he was trying to lose, or he was putting more pressure on
Yeah.
Ritter than he needed to, and I think that's a lot why Ritter failed because
Mhm.
you don't use your run game. I mean, you got the number one back. I mean, Jameer Gibbs will have something to say about that, but Bijan
Right.
Robinson is a bona fide dog, and you don't let
Mhm.
this dude off his leash? That is crazy to me. I think
Yeah, I
next
saw
year
the limit.
he's gonna show this next year. He's definitely gonna show it next year.
I was at a few of those games, and I also had Bijan on my fantasy, and even in my introduction on my other show, I have him and Bryce in a hug. I actually captured that picture, and I was like, "Hey, those are my two favorite, rookies, except for CJ, of course, too." But yeah, I think that he was limited, and sometimes it can definitely hinder someone that's coming in, that has all
Mhm.
that potential. So Chris is saying, who do you replace Dak with when he's gone? Who do you replace him with? Trey
Well,
Lance?
Lance, they traded for him. If anything, I'm giving him a shot at it. I'm giving him a shot just to see what happens. But you got to think if Dak's gone, that means they really didn't do anything in the playoffs. They didn't go to the Super Bowl, so they're not going to re-sign him, so he'll be out of there. Or to be honest, if I'm Jerry Jones and I see it falling apart early, I'm trading Dak. If he'll go, I'm trading him. If he won't, then cool. You let him go. Why not? Let Lance fight for it. Because maybe change of scenery, better quarterback. San Fran might not have been his cup of tea, might not have been his place he loved or could be loved at. But no, I mean, both of them are gone. He's saying McCarthy will not win in Dallas. You're right. That's why they're both gone after next year. Jerry Jones just doesn't want to pay 2 coaches because NFL coaches, their contracts are guaranteed fully. You have to pay them. So
yeah, we're still paying like 5 coaches from the Panthers right now.
You paying the whole league.
Seriously. We are. I'm like, I wish I just had like 1/5 of that money you're paying all these coaches. We're still paying Matt Rule because his contract was not up to what it was when he came. So it was like a little lax in that. They may be still paying Steve Wilkes. I don't know, but it's just a lot of money out there. A lot of money out there. Now we see that Jim Harbaugh has gone to the Chargers. And so Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, I just realized they have the same initials. Wow. What do you see happening to that organization now that Harbaugh is there? Does that make that unit complete?
I think it's going to be dangerous. I think they're going to be dangerous. I mean, Harbaugh's loved Herbert the whole time. He's said it openly that he's loved Herbert. And I called that too. I said he's going to the Chargers. It was like, well, no, listen. He's openly said he loves Herbert. He has a house out there in LA. I mean, I'm telling you right now, Herbert underneath him will be great. Plus, you still got weapons. I mean, you might let go of Mike Williams, have to add a different piece. Probably make Quentin Johnson a better wide receiver. You still got Keenan Allen. Eckler, you're going to have to decide on. Maybe just let Joshua Kelly be the back now. Let Eckler go unless he loves Eckler. But then I think he brings the DC from Michigan too, Minners. And that defense can start changing some, and they could add some pieces. Joey Bosa, it's time for him. That he needs to go retire. He's getting hurt every 5 seconds. Time to go. Mac.
Him and his brother Nick.
Yep. Mac's getting older, but Mac still can play. Add a couple pieces of that defense. That offense can roll. Just they needed the right coach, and I think Harbaugh is going to do it. And that's another reason why I have a problem with everybody saying KC's this powerhouse. They're going to have the Chargers. They're going to have the Raiders to contend with next year, let alone if the Broncos decide to get their act together and get a quarterback. That team isn't bad. As we saw Russell pull them, I mean, they could have still been in the playoffs.
Right.
So I really think it's going to be a division that's going to be pounding each other just like the AFC North was all year long. I was
just about to say the AFC North was that new division. And I remember it's kind of like a flip. You know, every team it's supposed to be built where like every 6 years they kind of can get back to the playoffs. Unless you're in our division. We all have like collectively about 20 years of non-playoffs right now because the organizations are just not built the way they should be to come back for success. Now, since we've been on about 30 minutes ago, it did break that Deebo Samuel will be a limited participant. He practiced today. And so that's going to be interesting for this game that's coming up this weekend for those people who are banking on the 49ers. Do the 49ers need Deebo?
Yes. They need Deebo.
They need him to get the win.
They need him to get the win. I mean, you got to think. You got Kittle, you got Ayuk, but the problem is where did it lack after that? You really didn't have that guy. I mean, CMC did what he had to, but they're going to play Deebo. He, like you said, limited. They're going to play him. He's going to play. There's no way he doesn't play. Now, whether he plays as much as he normally does or not is different. But they do need him. What's he say? Chiefs are the team to beat regardless.
Oh, yeah. He said the Chiefs are the team to beat regardless. So many people are sold on the Chiefs, and they clearly are. I guess they're banking on the fact that Lamar chokes up every time he hasn't been to the playoffs. Not this far. Let's be clear. He has not been. He's been
not this far. No, he never won one. He won one game before, and that was it. I don't think he won one actually till this year.
Wild card or something. He's saying that he said that CMC, Chris is saying that CMC will get the ball 25 times or more. I could probably say that because the Panthers run them down, but they got so many other weapons out there. I
The
don't know about 25.
the thing with that is I believe he'll get it 25 times, but I think he'll get receptions with that because the
Yeah.
Lions' run defense is stout. Like their front four is monsters, and they're getting is it Justin Houston? I want to say it's Justin Houston, who had 8 sacks in 7 games and then got hurt, and now he'll be back. I think they're gonna run, but the Lions may be able to shut the run down. I think they're gonna put him out on screens and do short yard plays to him because that'll break up that Lions defense.
I wonder why no one's picking the Lions. I think I'm the only person on all my shows that are saying this is the Lions year.
You want to know
And
why?
if the Lions go, I think they're gonna win all of it.
You want to know why no one's picking them?
Why? Because you can't bet against Mahomes or
No,
Lamar.
no, no. Right? Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. Not one person trusts golf. They don't trust golf. They don't trust him in
Oh
pressure
yeah.
situations. They don't trust him against a defense that could shut him down. All's the Niners got to do is make them one dimensional. If they stop the run, then it makes golf have to do something. And if you got to rely on golf, nobody believes golf can do it. Plus, the Lions secondary on the outside, soft as hell. They're
But
just
Goff
not.
has the experience though. He has this
He
playoff and
does.
Super Bowl experience.
He does. But he's gotten his ass handed to him a bunch of times by these 49ers, which that might add a chip to his shoulder. But I don't know. That's to me is why. I'm not doing that. That's not my reasoning of why I wouldn't pick them. I just think the 49ers are loaded and they're ready to get over this hump.
And Chris Pomay talked last night on the show and even talked about the difference in the turf that they play on. And I'm sure that definitely would have a bearing. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be sunny in Santa Clara this
Yep.
weekend. God forbid they get any rain because the Lions play in a literal den that is protected from all elements at Ford Field.
Listen, if it rains for some reason, if God says it's raining in Levi Stadium,
Southern yeah.
that means the Lions have the greatest chance of winning. That is one of the exact
Mm,
reasons why the Packers were in the game they were in because Purdy is not Purdy in the rain. He can't
I
throw
got
the
you.
ball.
It's
He had to
not
put on a
pretty.
glove. You can tell he was uncomfortable, and then
Yeah, he kept doing his hand.
yep,
Yeah.
hands were getting put on him. And if he gets pressured and the rain is going, he'll make mistakes. And he showed it. He made mistakes. He made mistakes against the Ravens, and it was pressured. And that weather, it's just telling you, if it's sunny, Purdy's he's gonna look Purdy. If it's
So,
raining, ain't gonna be too Purdy.
so score predictions for both games. Barring any bad weather, it's a sunny day, it's 70 degrees. Both teams, well, it's not gonna be 70 in Baltimore. But wait, is it in Baltimore? Yes, it's in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's in Baltimore.
Kansas, Baltimore. They're not gonna be 70, but I'm saying for the California game, the West Coast game, I should say. Barring any bad weather, what's the games? Will it be close? Will it come down to who has the ball last? How's that gonna go?
I think it'll definitely be close. They're gonna battle it out. I think it's like a 24-21 game. Like I could even go 24-17, but I think the Lions will be right there with them. And it'll be that end of the game thing. It won't be, relying on a field goal, but I think it'll be close.
All right. And then the AFC game.
I'm gonna say that's gonna be real low scoring. That's like a 21-17, 17-14 type of game. You got to think KC's defense only allowed, what was it, 17 points or something all year long. Like they were the second best. And then the Ravens are just the best with it, or well, the Browns were, but the Ravens are right there. I feel like it's going to be a low scoring game, and I feel like they edge them out.
Yeah.
Chris
So
is talking about high scoring. He over there, he talking about take the over.
Yes, and I'm like, I believe the score atmosphere, but I don't believe the winners. Unfortunately, Time flies when you're having a good time. Mike, it's been a delight to have you on tonight. Please know you have an open invitation to come back anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be all I have for tonight, but I'll be back on tomorrow night at 7 this same time. Mike, thanks for joining me.
Always.
And we thank every one of you who tuned in tonight with us. And we wish that everyone has a nice, safe night. And I will see you guys on tomorrow. Good night.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.